Werewolves, were in general, is a different biological branch of shapeshifters that only becomes one creature.
They're actually the strongest of all of the shapeshifters. And on a full moon, they can't resist changing.
You're an animal, and you're really sensitive to emotions, you're sensitive to smell, there's the hunt, there's just a lot of things that go into being a werewolf.
I mean, if you were to meet a werewolf, you might have some inkling that there was something a little bit off about them.
As we got into writing the werewolves, both as wolves and humans, we wanted to sort of acknowledge the pack mentality and the pack psychology and the need for there to be an alpha. If you're not alpha, then you don't get the things that alphas get. Like alphas eat first.
Weres live together as a group. They tend to be interrelated socially. They form very strong bonds with one another.
There's a reason their existence has remained merely a myth to humans for thousands of years. They're territorial, vicious, pathologically secretive.
Boy, does that sound familiar.
There are two different bands of werewolves in Jackson. Good wolves. They're werewolves, but they function in society. They have a pack, but they're not criminals. The other group are more vicious, more outlaw.
That pack is a cancer to our kind. At least some bitches come to town. There's a crime streak a mile wide.
Alcide is not one of my pack. They consider a betrayal to be in cahoots with a vampire.
Edgington's whole thing has always been, for maybe 2,000 years, that he uses the Weres. He's formed a pack that's loyal to him. The way he cements that loyalty is through addiction to his blood.
That's not considered a ethical or moral thing to do as a vampire, nor is it an ethical or moral thing to do for a werewolf.
Weres that are on V are incredibly strong, even for werewolves, so they're stronger than the other werewolves. They basically are able to do things that the vampires can't.
Can your pack of imbeciles do nothing right?
The Weres are like pure shifters, and what I mean by that is they consider themselves above all other shapeshifters because they only shift into one creature, and that creature is a wolf. The Weres in the pack that, I belong to are a very loose, antisocial, rough, and structureless group, whereas the vampires are very elegant, they're very refined, they're very directional. So it makes for a great contrast.
The first season and second two, we just had vampires with the coolest kids on the block. And now they've got the rival gang, which is such a great archetype, such a wonderful, it adds to the mythology of this whole thing.
I think the werewolves in True Blood are much more thought out.
I think the introduction of the werewolves in season 3 has certainly heightened the drama, because it's not just werewolves and humans and that whole interaction, but it's a whole other breed of people with their own laws and their own feelings, and the fights are crazy and the shifts are crazy, and if you think vampires are crazy, wait till you see the wolves. So I think it's totally going to add a whole new dimension that is definitely exciting to look forward to.